Yo, this is Grim here. So I have a dual avatar deck that I've been playing. It's kind of a fun deck. Does some cool stuff. It's not exactly like a good deck or anything. It's just fun to play. It's got some really cool cards. People read some of their cards and think, "Wow, this is pretty broken," but it's not. It's just they don't lead into too much stuff. They can OTK at times, and they have some interruptions if they get set up well. But yeah, I'll just get into it. It's a really fun deck, though. I've enjoyed playing it. So to start off with, for monsters, we run triple Yuhi. So there's only two type of main deck monsters, which is Yuhi and Kokoku. I'll just put Kokoku here. So yeah, there's only two types of main deck monsters. So you just max out on both of them. It's important. You do go through them a lot. Yuhi searches you spells. Kokoku searches you traps. Overall, like, not too bad. Like warriors, but you definitely need to max out on them. It would be nice if we had one more monster that come out for the deck, like a main deck monster. But just kind of waiting around and seeing. Then triple Ash Blossom. It's just Ash Blossom is a good card. And then triple Effect Veiler. So my monster count is just this, which is 12. So we run 6 monster hand traps and then triple imperm. So we run 9 hand traps altogether. And definitely the hand trap ratio has been really good. It's just helpful. You draw quite a bit as well once you start going. So definitely enjoy that. You could potentially main deck like nibs and stuff because you could pop the nib token with their fusion. But overall, it's like I just side deck nibs if I was to do so. And then onto spells. So we run a lot of spells. Triple their field spell, perfect sync. So it doesn't say it's not a dual avatar card. Because why not? It doesn't even do really that much, honestly. They could have made like dual avatar perfect sync or something. When it's activated, search your dual avatar monster. While you control a dual avatar effect monster, it summons a token once per turn. Not really like that crazy or anything. The plus side of it is it just gives you like a token you can pop with your Yuhi to search a spell. A lot of the card effects in this deck are based on if you control like an effect monster one, or if you control a fusion summon monster that used an effect monster as a material, and then they get other effects. It's kind of a weird gimmick, considering if there's only like 6 main deck monsters. It is a bit of an odd one, but yeah, triple that, and then I run triple supply squad. This is really good in the deck. The deck destroys. A lot of your effects are based on destruction. You destroy your own stuff a lot, so it ends up just being really nice. And your invitation discards from your hand. The stuff that needs discard fodder. You're gonna need some type of consistency to keep getting the cards in your hand to discard, and with the hand traps as well, you'd want to discard them to interrupt your opponent. So overall, it's been a really good card in the deck. And then I main deck triple super poly. You get locked into fusion monsters when you use invitation, and overall you could super poly your own field, or just put super poly target in your extra deck and main deck it to hit your opponent. Again, this is like sometimes like a game winner card. It's so good. Then I run triple defeat and evil. This is great. This is your interruption. So it basically targets one of yours, target one of your opponents, destroy them. If you destroy a fusion monster, you can apply an extra effect, which is either to draw a card or banish a card from your opponent's grave. The downside is it can be ashed because it involves drawing. But overall, though, it's great. You can only activate one per turn, though. But it's a nice little piece of interruption that gets you an extra card in your hand. Triple invitation. So this is what the deck requires. You have to use this. This is like the deck only runs because of this card. So you activate, it doesn't discard as cost. So technically you could use it with like a tier element engine, or like a Dark World engine. So you discard one, and then you summon as many dual avatar tokens as possible. Then you're locked into fusions. and then you apply the next effect twice, which is to fusion summon using monsters from your hand or field. Which is pretty crazy. You summon 5 tokens, you instantly fusion summon twice. But the fusion monsters aren't exactly crazy, and a lot of the stuff requires you to use an effect monster. But the plus side is that, you know, it just kind of gets you big monsters on board pretty easy. So definitely 3 of that. I run triple fusion deployment. I considered putting this down to 2, just because there's not many targets, and I run reinforcements of the army as well. Which then it'd technically be 3 abilities to search your warriors, rather than 4. But I've kept it in at 3 at the moment. If it's dead in your hand, you can probably just discard it most of the time, which happens for Super Poly or Invitation. So it's been pretty good, honestly. Just keeping it at 3 at the moment. And then I run 1 reinforcements, they're all warriors, 1 instant fusion. There's 2 instant fusion targets in the deck. And if they get destroyed in the end phase as well, like this level 4, the newer one, he gets an effect to summon 2. So in that sense, it's got a little bit of synergy with instant fusion. And then 1 terraforming, because, search your field spell. You could probably take the terraforming out for like a Call by the Grave. But Perfect Sync isn't a dual avatar card, so it has no other search cards for it. Onto trap cards, I run triple impermanence. Hand trap, good card. 2 compact. So compact basically banishes one of your dual avatar spell traps from your grave, copies its effect on activation. In a sense, you can invitation in your opponent's turn. You can copy it, defeating evil to get another pop and draw. Just a really good card. You don't want 3 though, clogs. If you don't think you're getting into anything and you drew one for your starting hand, you end up just discarding it. But it's a good card. And then 2 ascendants. I considered bumping this up to 3, honestly. So its base effect isn't like that crazy. It targets on your dual avatars, destroys it, and then you summon one with an level 1 higher or 1 lower from your extra deck. So it has a synergy with destruction, and then gets you a different one out from your extra deck, which is kind of nice. Can dodge some stuff as well. It's got a grave effect as well. As you draw on your main phase, you banish it to add 1 back from your grave. So you add like Yuhi. So there's a little bit of recycling. The deck kind of needs recycling. Because when just 6 monsters are gone, you're kind of like, damn. That's another thing. I was trying to think if I wanted to put something in to help recycle the monsters. But I haven't come up with anything yet. But that's the main deck. I'll go on to extra deck now, which is 2 Kongayo. He's one of the bigger ones. He's basically all like related to battle phase. And if you have 2 or more fusion monsters and the effect targets him, you can like negate the effect. But other than that, he's just like a 3k beat stick. If he battles, he bounces a monster your opponent controls. He's like a decent boss monster. But he does require Yuhi. So he's a fusion deployment target. Requires Yuhi and 2 dual avatar monsters. And then I run 2 Mitsujaku. He's like a spell trap one. So the first time they'd be sure a battle, they're not. He's the better one, honestly, out of the 2 of these bigger ones. And then during my main phase, I can return all spell traps my opponent controls to their hand. And then quick effect, I have 2 fusions. I can pop them onto that activated effect. So he's solid though. He's a 3k defender, 2k attack. He requires Kokori. So again, fusion deployment target, really handy. Then I run 2 Gaio. He's like when he's summoned, he pops attack position monster, and then if I have a fusion monster that had an effect monster as a material, all my ones gain 300 attack. So if I had both of these out, one of them using effect monster, my dual avatars would gain 600 attack. The problem with his pop effect is he can't attack directly the turn he uses it, which makes OTKing a bit, it's kind of a weird restriction they put on him. I don't understand it, but Konami, it is what it is. 2 of the blue one on Gaio. This is basically you can change the destruction target to a different dual avatar, and then if you have an F1 use with an effect monster, it's a quick effect negate a monster special from the X deck's effects. So it's not too bad. A little bit of interruption. It's got a bigger defense. You usually want to end on that with this one when you use your invitation. So this one's interesting. If you manage to use one of those two bigger ones at the start, for him he gains effects. So if you use Kongayu, he gains 3k attack. So it becomes just like a big monster. But then if you use Mitsu, it becomes a quick effect, banish a card your opponent controls, which is a pretty good effect. Then his last effect, regardless of what you've used for him, is just if he's destroyed, you can special summon one Yuki and one Kokui from your deck, but they can't be destroyed by battle card effects that turn. The only downside is if you destroy it in your turn, you can't then use your Yuki and stuff to kill themselves, because then, their self-destruction won't work, because, they can't show battle card effects that turn by your guy's effect. So it's a little niche, but it's nice for survival in your opponent's turn. It's a really good target for defeating evil, because you pop them both, you draw a card, then that'll summon 2 from your deck. Then my super poly targets is 1 Starving Venom, just for any decks that are dark. 1 Dragostapelia. I have fusion monsters, and again, if it's a dark deck, I could just use one of mine and theirs. 1 Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon's just pretty handy, honestly. He's a good super poly target. And then 1 Guru. I was considering cutting down the level 4 dual avatar to put a 5th super poly target in. I'm not too sure what I'd actually put in though. But at the moment, I'm using these 4. I think the only one I haven't summoned is Mud Dragon. But otherwise, I've summoned all the other ones. Guru and Mosley, of course. It's the one that meets the easiest condition. And then probably Starving Venom and then Drago. But yeah, so I have them as my 4 super poly targets. You could probably put like rank 4s or links in this, but a lot of times your invitations gonna lock you into fusions. So it's say 50-50 with that. I was considering trying to make like a tier element version because of because the invitation doesn't got as cost. You can use compact on it or something. It's very interesting, but I've kind of just settled on this. This was like a nice variant for me. It wasn't like crazy combos or anything. It was just kind of like interruptions. You interrupt a little bit, you can kind of get the game state into a stage where maybe you can outgrind your opponent. But yeah, I enjoyed this. Honestly, the deck needs like a better fusion monster and a new monster for the main deck. Their spells are great. Their traps are decent enough. They've got 4 fusion. They've got 5 fusion monsters. I think that decent. They're fusion monsters, but they just don't have that like greatness to them. They could bring a boss one out that requires like another fusion monster and like another dual avatar monster, and it could be like an omni negate or just like a quick effect pop in your opponent's turn. That'd be really handy for the deck, or just another monster. Honestly, like another monster that summons one or adds a monster from your deck to your hand, or summons one from your deck. I don't think they need any more spells or traps. They're pretty comfy. I mean, yeah, they get a really good spell card. I'm not going to complain. But overall, they're pretty decent with what they've got at the moment. But yeah, that was Dual Avatar. If you have any suggestions or ideas for them, feel free. Pretty sure this is a deck I'll keep. It'll just be in like a box somewhere. Some decks I make and I think I don't really like them that much. I'm not going to keep them. I'll just get rid of them. But then some decks like these, I'll think, oh, they were pretty fun. I'll just put aside. So I'll probably end up keeping these just to like play at some future date, or if they get support, give that a go. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. See you.